Iles-Moss, and today I will be talking about the progression of volleyball. Now, throughout the history of volleyball, there have been many rule changes that have brought volleyball to its present day form. And these changes have made the game more competitive and exciting to watch. Now, what are these changes? Well, here are the key topics that I'll be going through, and they are the techniques, the positions, the rules, and the different types of volleyball that I think help the game become more exciting. Now, for the rules, you would have to go to the beginning, which is the rules of 1897, and the most impactful rules that have affected the game were the scoring, the net ball, and the line ball. The scoring was that you could only score upon serving. So if you did not serve and you won the rally, you did not score the point. The net ball, you could not hit the ball on the net. If you hit the ball off the net, it would be considered a possession for the opponent's side. And if they were serving, it would be their point. And also line ball, if you hit the ball on the line, then it will be considered out. And if the opponent was serving, it would be considered a point for the opponent. Now, the significant rule changes would be the net and post. The height differences were changed for different age groups. And this helped the age group develop their skills rather than compete with the net of volleyball. So when they get older, they become more skillful playing the ball, which meant that you could play the ball anywhere, any part of the body. So at first it was only knees up. Now you could hit any part of the body and play the ball. This allowed the players to make more saves and keep the ball in play when playing volleyball. Also, the service zone, it was extended to within the 9-meter width. So this gave the servers much more leeway to serve wherever they want, and it helped them develop more serving techniques. Also, the libero was introduced, which was a position that I believe is crucial to this game. And the scoring system, which is now rally points. You can now score off the opponent's serve. Now that we've touched upon the rules, we can go to the positions. And first we should go to the libero, which majority of the time is considered the second best player on the team. What is required for a libero to be a libero is they must wear a different colored jersey than their other teammates to signify that they are a libero, due to the fact that they have unlimited substitutions. They can sub anyone out in the back row. That is also another significant thing about the libero. The libero is not allowed to be on the upper half of their side. They cannot attack, they cannot block, and they cannot hit up on the net. And their job is to make the best pass towards the center and save as much tough shots as they can. The second position we should touch upon is the hitters, and their assignment is to look for ways to score on the opponent, and they are the main attackers of the team, which consists of 3, which are the 2 outside on the left side of the court and the 1 opposite, which is on the right side of the court. The middle blocker is usually the first line of defense for the team, and their main assignment is to block all the balls that are being thrown at them by the opponent. And last but not least, the setter, which majority of the time is considered the best player on the team, and their assignment is to be the playmaker of the team. Most of the time, the setter is supposed to get the second ball every time in a volleyball game, but when push comes to shove, they will ask for help if they cannot reach to the ball. now that we've touched upon the positions, we can go to the basic techniques. And the first we should talk about is serving. Now, serving is important because if you cannot serve, then you have no game you cannot play the game of volleyball. Every play begins with a serve, and the most common serves are underhand and overhand. Where underhand, you usually have the ball in your least dominant hand, you roll it towards your dominant hand, and you hit it with your dominant hand underneath. And overhand, which you have the ball in your least dominant hand, but you toss it up, and then you hit it with your dominant hand. The most common serves for overhand is topspin and floater. A topspin is when you hit the ball and the ball has a forward spinning motion, henceforth the topspin, and a floater is when you hit the ball and it has no spin whatsoever and it sways, disorienting the opponent and making it difficult for them to pass and receive the ball. Now, the second thing we should touch upon is the passing, which is the most important part of volleyball. So, passing, you always have to have a platform, and the most common one is the Kapatan platform, which you usually place one hand over another. You place your two thumbs over those hands, and then you wrap it around, forming a cup. And whenever you are passing, you always have to make sure to follow through with the ball with your legs and never swing, because if you swing, the ball will go in all directions. You have to use your legs to follow through. For setting, which is the second part of attacking in volleyball, it is more difficult, and the setter is usually the one who does the setting, where you would have a triangle platform when you're trying to get the ball. So when you have the triangle platform, when you make contact with the ball, you have your wrist as a shock absorber, not as the source of power, and you use your legs as a source of power to push the ball where you want it to go. For blocking, it is the line of defense of volleyball, and what you do is you are facing the net, and wherever the ball goes and the hitter strikes, you're to follow the ball and then jump and extend your arms to where the ball is going and block. For hitting, which is the third crucial part of attacking, usually the technique that people do is the 1-2-1-2 technique. And for left-handers, it is left, right, and right-handers, it is right, left. And this helps you center yourself towards the net, then aim for the ball, and at the last two steps, it helps you gather your momentum and power to then hit the ball to the opponent's side. And there are usually three types of hitting, which is the hitting part or the spike, where you use most of your strength and momentum to carry the ball to the other side. The roll shot, which is more controlled and for placement, where you want to place the ball to the opponent's side. And dinks or the shorts, which is a short place shot close to the net on the opponent's side. Now here are some advanced techniques for volleyball, which is the serving. It would be the jump serves. Now think of jump serves as similar to hitting, but you're serving. So you have the ball now in your dominant hand. You toss it up, and you hit it to the peak of your height of where you jump, and you hit it like you are spiking. For blocking, there is post blocking and swing blocking, which is a couple of advanced techniques. Post blocking, which is the open cross hop, is where you are close to the net, you move your foot that is closest to the net first, and then you hop towards where the person is hitting, and then you block. And then the swing block is similar to spiking, so it's 1-2, 1-2, but instead of, if you're left or right-handed, you hit with your dominant hand, you think of it as you always start with the foot closest to the net. So 1-2, 1-2, and then you hop. And then for hitting, there are plays that are called, one being the quick, another slide, and then the back row hits. So the quicks and the slides are mainly for the middle blockers. And what you do for the quick is you set a quick, fast tempo pass towards the middle blocker. This is usually done to when you want to make a fast play and think the opponent cannot catch up to the middle blocker when you are setting towards them. And a slide is usually when the setter does a back set towards the middle blocker, where the middle blocker has to in some way slide and then attack at the net. And then the back row hits are when the back row outside hitter and the opposite hitter, the setter, sets it to them. Now here are some basic calls from the setter, which is the 1, 2, 3, and 4, the 1 being the quick, the 2 being the regular pass for the middle blocker, the 3 being usually the slides for the middle blocker, and the 4 being for the opposite hitter, and the 4 being for the outside hitter, and the 5 being for the opposite hitter. And the back 1, back 2, and back 3 are as well usually for the middle blocker. And then the A, B, pipe, and C are usually for the back outside hitter, the back middle if they are serving, because usually the middle blocker is subbed out by the libero after they are done serving, and the opposite hitter. Now, there are different types of volleyball, and the one that we basically touched upon is the indoor volleyball, which is 6v6, so 6 players on each side of the court, and it's a best out of 5, 225, and the 5th set being played to 15. And one thing about the indoor game is the libero is involved, and the standard rules of volleyball are applied to this game. The next one is beach volleyball, and what's different from it and indoor is that it is a 2v2 game, usually played on the sand courts or the beaches, where players play a best out of 3 to 21, where the third set is being played to 15. And every 7 points, the opponent switch sides, which is different from the indoor. And also the differences in techniques are receiving, setting, blocking, and hitting. So for receiving, you cannot set the ball when the opponent is serving, or if they hit it over to your side, unless it's a hard driven hit towards you. For setting, you cannot have a full rotation on the ball. So after you set, the ball must not rotate at all. And for blocking, you cannot block on the opponent's side. So in indoor, people usually are allowed to block on the opponent's side usually. For sand volleyball, you can only block on your side, so it has to be straight up usually. And for hitting, you cannot dink or do a short unless it's with 2 fingers. So when you're doing a short, you have to use your 2 fingers to hit it onto the opponent's side. And last but not least, sitting volleyball, which is a game of 6 players on each side. And it is the same as indoor, where you have 5 sets to 25, with the 5th set being played to 15. but the difference is the net height, which is 3 foot high, and the players are allowed to block, but their butt cheek must be planted. One of their butt cheeks must be planted on the floor when they're making contact with the ball, and that applies the same with blocking serves, which is also very different from indoor because you cannot block on a serve, but in sitting volleyball you can. So in conclusion, as the rules have changed, the game of volleyball has evolved, and the techniques have as well in order to win. And that is why it has made the game so exciting and competitive to watch. So I thank you for this presentation, for being here in this presentation.